When it comes to choosing between a childhood bond and an unexpected connection, which one would you choose? On one side stands the senior she has trained with since childhood. On the other, you, the boy who suddenly entered her home and her life. Usually, childhood friends find it hard to compete with the sudden charm of someone new. Even though the senior had fallen for her 10 years ago, his feelings remained one-sided. Nico's emotions, however, grew slowly, like a breeze turning into a storm. Spending her days with you, he had already become as vital to her as the air she breathed. Not long ago, Nico defeated the senior, who held the title of the nation's top karate fighter. That victory made sure she stayed by Yu's side instead of being recruited elsewhere. The senior, bound by their earlier promise, had no choice but to accept it. Trying to ease the tension, Nico playfully teased Yu, but when Yu faced off against the senior, he lost quickly and completely. He couldn't even imagine how it would have ended if he had fought her alone. Yet, the senior acknowledged Yu's courage. Rolling up his trousers, he revealed a scar on his shin, explaining that Yu's attacks there were surprisingly fierce. That very injury had left him unable to dodge Nico's final strike. Knowing Nico's heart might already belong to someone else, the senior made one last attempt. He confessed he wanted to stay by her side, to train with her, because he liked her. Nico, startled, thought it was just the affection of an older training partner, and responded in the same way. But the senior quickly clarified this wasn't casual. It was a real confession. She couldn't understand when he had started to like her, and he explained it had been love at first sight. From the very first day she stepped into the dojo, he had been drawn to her. As the sun set, Senior then asked Nico whether her feelings for Yu carried the same meaning. At that moment, she seemed to realize something, but he quickly added that he didn't want to hear her answer. Hearing it aloud would only stir up jealousy he wasn't ready to face. Before leaving, he promised they would meet again at the national tournament, then turned away. Left standing alone, Nico drifted into memories of her time with Yu, their moments together, both ordinary and meaningful. Confusion tugged at her. She reassured herself that she wasn't going crazy. On her way home that evening, Nico grew annoyed at the thought that Yu and the others had already left after the match without waiting for her. Yet, at the same time, the idea of being with them wasn't something she truly disliked. Maybe back home, she opened the door to find the house decorated celebrating her victory. Yu explained it was her stay-at-home anniversary party. The phrase sounded ridiculous. After all, she had simply decided not to leave, but the effort behind it softened her heart. When she noticed Yu's hand, red and swollen from cooking burns, concern replaced her irritation. He brushed it off. After a long moment, she finally reached out and gently touched his hand. She knew Yu was the kind of person who would wince even at the smallest scratch. Left her wondering, what was it Yu truly wanted from her? If there was a wish he held close, she was ready to fulfill it. But when Yu finally spoke, his words took everyone by surprise. He wished for something simple, to go to an amusement park together with Nico, Kazuki, and Miwa. At first, Nico felt it was a childish and even boring request. Yet Yu explained that his real wish was to spend time with family, to experience something he had longed for quietly. The sisters exchanged glances. A group of teenage boys and girls going to an amusement park, what would others see it as, if not a date? Just then, Nico's father called. Before she could respond, Yu quickly grabbed the phone and told her father to let the sisters rest for once. His casual words carried weight, softening the father's strict nature. To everyone's surprise, he not only agreed, but even praised Nico for her recent victory against the country's top karate fighter. Perhaps Yu's boldness had shifted something in him. With permission granted, the weekend trip was set. The next day, preparations began. Nico carefully chose her outfits. Kazuki focused on how to leave a lasting mark on Yu, while Miwa planned how to spark his heart. The three sisters, each with their own approach, were determined not to lose. Miwa arrived at the meeting spot first, her confidence soaring as she imagined she already had an advantage. Soon after, Kazuki appeared, dressed with special effort to catch Yu's eye. Miwa immediately felt challenged by her transformation. Finally, Nico arrived. To everyone's shock, she had completely transformed. Gone was her usual tomboyish image, replaced by a petite and sweet look. The sudden change left her sisters stunned. With all three gathered, the amusement park adventure officially began. What Yu didn't realize, however, was that the tension between the sisters had already reached its peak. Beneath the smiles and playful banter, the rivalry was sharper than ever. Their first stop was the haunted house, a plan Kazuki had carefully arranged. She hoped to use her fear as an excuse to cling to Yu, making his heart race in the process. The other two immediately caught on, but things didn't go as expected. When monsters jumped out with sudden scares, Kazuki didn't flinch. It was the opposite of what she had intended, and left the haunted house staff awkwardly ignored. Then it struck her, this wasn't the script she had planned. According to her strategy, she should have crouched down in fear, pressed closer to Yu with tearful eyes. But Yu wasn't beside her at all. To everyone's shock, he had already been scared half to death. In the end, It was Kazuki who ended up protecting him. Her plan to make Yu blush collapsed instantly. Instead, she was the one who found herself flustered bitterly. When Kazuki carried a trembling Yu out of the haunted house, her sisters immediately understood she had failed. Their own chances had just improved. Next, Miwa stepped up. She wanted Yu to shield her on a fast, high-intensity ride. The ride ended. She found him already collapsed on a bench, completely drained. Yu's heart simply couldn't take such thrills. Instead of protecting Miwa, he ended up being the one who needed care. His gentle gratitude melted her resolve. And just like Kazuki, she too fell into his charm. Another failure. That left Nico. Many believed she had the best chance. On the spinning teacups, Yu lost balance and nearly kissed her. For a moment, Nico even hoped it would happen. But before it did, he was thrown aside, forcing her to catch him instead. Her sisters could only stare speechlessly. Even Nico had failed. The three tried again and again. But Yu, in his own clumsy way, captured their hearts instead. By sunset, they were exhausted. None of them could understand how Yu carried such feminine charm, too scared to play rides, yet able to turn the whole day in his favor. The warm sunset fell over their drowsy faces. For once, the rivalry and noise gave way to rare peace. Miwa stirred, her eyes sweeping across Nico, Kazuki, and Yu asleep beside her. In that quiet moment, she realized, beyond the competition, there was something deeper holding them together. Then, outside the window, she caught sight of a poster announcing her upcoming match. With her elder sisters having faced their battles, it was now her turn to step into the spotlight.